My co-founder, Charles, a software engineer, he came to me, he said, Neera, there's this thing called Nemt, and all the softwares in the industry are really old, clunky, outdated. If we come in and build something really good, we can win over this entire industry and we can do it really fast. So I was like, okay, Charles, let's do this.
Hello, I am Willina McGee. I am your NEMT startup coach. I am here today to bring to our audience, our community, our team, a video that many of you have been sending me emails about on our one-to-one calls. You guys have been asking me about it. And, you know, in each case, everything is differently. But today we are fortunate enough to have the expert, Neerav Chatta of Bambi dispatching software here to give us the lowdown on dispatching software, answer several questions that I have been able to put together to give you guys a better idea of what to be looking for in a dispatching software. So without any further ado, Neerav, can you please share with the audience about your journey in NEMT and how you came from a software engineer to developing such a software such as Bambi?
Well, Lena, howdy, and thank you for that intro. Hello, everyone. My name is Neerav Chatta, and I'm the CEO of Bambi. We are a software company that makes NEMT dispatching and scheduling software. It's specifically designed for NEMT, and we're here to bring simplicity and ease to this whole process of getting trips, doing trips, and getting paid with our software. Quick story of my journey. 2 years ago, I had no idea what NEMT even was. And it was in like April of 2022 that my co-founder, Charles, a software engineer, he came to me, and Charles and I had known each other. He said, Neera, there's this thing called Nemt, and all the softwares in the industry are really old, clunky, outdated. If we come in and build something really good, we can win over this entire industry and we can do it really fast. So I was like, okay, Charles, let's do this. So it was about 1.5 to 2 years ago at this point that we took the plunge. And now Bambi is a team of 10 people. All 10 of us are Americans in America. We are all part owners of the business. And we all come from Silicon Valley startup technology companies. We've all been successful in building software startups, and we are all in on Bambi. We looked at this NEMT industry and we said we can win. So all 10 of us are day and night working hard to make Bambi the best damn software for NEMT that ever exists. And now we have customers, a growing customer list of NEMT providers across the country, ranging from 1 vehicle all the way to 30 plus vehicles. And every single one of our customers loves us. They've switched over from the other softwares that are out there too. People just can't believe that a product this good exists. So we're here to win over the industry and make the lives of NEMT owners just a lot easier and better.
That is so awesome. It really is, because before we got on today to do this interview, I talked to you a little bit and told you that I did, what is it called? Spam your channel, I guess, you know, just stopped it a little bit, your YouTube channel. And if you guys don't know out there, please go over to Bambi's YouTube channel, where you are going to find a smorgasbord of information. I couldn't believe the industry experts as I was going through that you actually had on there. And I was like, wow, I'm in that group. You know, when you're talking about people from the MTAC, the industry accreditation, you know, and seeing their stories and them talking about hiring drivers and the things that you should look for. I almost was in tears when I was looking at that video. I was like, I wish I had this. I wish I had this. I wish I had had this. I mean, she was so spot on everything. And so I really encourage viewers to go over there and support the channel, subscribe, watch, and I'll definitely put a link down below for you on that. But I was also doing the research on the development of your software. And, I was able to see a conference that you had did back in 2023. And I was just very, very, very impressed the features that Bambi has and how, of course, I didn't get to see everything there, but it was just very impressive to see how easily things were maneuvering within that software program. So can you give us an overview of Bambi and how it specifically caters to the needs of NEMT companies?
Yes. So NEMT companies, when you really break it down, have to do three things. Like I said, get trips, do trips, and get paid. And your software should make each one of those three things a lot simpler and faster and easier. I mean, just talking about Bambi's features on doing those three basic things, like I could show you Bambi as well, by the way. I've got a demo account open, ready to go. But simply put, like, whoever it is that's giving you trips, whether it be a facility or a broker or a private pay, you got to have a simple add a trip form where you can key in information. You got to have a CSV upload where, hey, they're giving me trip information in this format. I can just pop it into Bambi. Or a facility, I wanted them to be able to enter trips that directly come into my Bambi, right? Whatever it is, those trips got to get into your system easily. Bambi does that. Number two, doing trips. Well, you got to place trips onto driver and vehicle schedules, right? You got to decide who's getting which trip. One of the things that Bambi prides ourselves on is our run Bambi run function. So that's our AI scheduling optimization system where basically you say, okay, I've got 50 trips to do tomorrow. I've got 6 vehicles on the road. Instead of having a human being figuring out which trips to place on which vehicle schedules, you just click run Bambi run, and it'll figure out the optimal way to place all those 50 trips onto those 6 vehicle schedules so that two things happen. Number one, the most number of trips get placed on the schedule. And number two, the fleet as a whole is driving the minimum amount of unloaded miles. And people love that. Like it shaves hours off of a scheduler or dispatcher's time. And the especially cool thing about Bambi is it does reassignments. So let's say it's day of, you get some more trips, trying to figure out, hey, where do I place these on the schedule? Click run Bambi run. It'll shuffle around trips in real time to see if it can fit trips onto the schedule. So doing trips is super easy. Our driver mobile app, drivers love it. Dispatchers can see in real time on a calendar what trips are happening. Doing trips is a breeze. And then finally, getting paid. Right within Bambi, you can export your trip information to send it to whoever you need. You can run credit cards directly in Bambi and get paid. You have invoicing directly through Bambi. Whatever it is you need, whoever you have to pay, we've got a simple and easy way for you to do it. But Willina, I'm just gonna finish this little piece with this. There are a lot of softwares out there that claim they have this functionality, this one. What really differentiates Bambi is that you don't really need training or instruction on how to use it. It's so simple and intuitive. This industry is full of people who aren't software engineers, right? They didn't go and get engineering degrees. You need software that's simple and easy to use, that anyone can use, that your grandmother can use. Bambi is that. And we have the customer testimonials to prove it.
That is awesome. Like you literally just nailed every single one of my questions. Like really, I think we might have a couple that's left, but I mean, that really tells us a lot about your company. I know my experience, with the software company that the broker was using for me when I started, it was very challenging to understand. Number one, the trainings involved. I mean, it was torture. I remember driving back from Augusta back to South Carolina while I was traveling, and their representative calling me and explaining for 35 to 40 minutes on what I was going to have to do to just get into the learning program. And I'm just like, I didn't want to miss the call, so I wouldn't be able to start. But I'm just like, and it was so challenging to use. And then once we got into the program, it was just the rerouting and having to match with the systems with the broker. And it was just very, very confusing. Can you tell us a little bit more how you specifically stop that confusion for the drivers and the dispatchers?
Why don't I show you instead of tell you? Is it cool if I share my screen?
I would love to. Yay.
Let's see some Bambi in action, shall
All
we?
right, let's do it.
All right. So what you're looking at, Willina, right now is the main dispatch screen of Bambi. So you see how this vehicle up here, Combo, is being driven by Charles today, and Big Ambi is being driven by me, and so on?
Yes.
So this is an example of a 6-vehicle company, and this is their day. And you can see that I'm driving from 5:30 a.m. until 5 p.m. I'm lazy, so I drive less than the others. And the whole goal right now is to get all of these unassigned trips that are on the left-hand column over onto the right-hand side, over onto the schedule. So, normally what you do in any software, including Bambi, is you can manually assign a trip. And I can decide, this trip for Sandhill Crane, I'm going to put it on Mike's schedule today, right? But the special thing about Bambi is I'm just going to select all these trips, and I'm going to hit this magic button down here called Run Bambi Run. And when I do that, that's doing what I just mentioned before. Number one, it's figuring out how to place the most trips onto the schedule. And number two, making it most efficient, like making the whole fleet as a whole drive the minimum amount of miles to transport all of those passengers. And it's taking into account pickup and drop-off locations, historical traffic patterns, the needs of the passenger, the skills of the driver, the capacity of the vehicle, everything that you can think of. And it's going to spit out a suggestion within just, less than 60 seconds. And right now, here you have it. This is Bambi's suggestion. And as a dispatcher, I look at that and say, okay, that makes sense to me. I'm going to apply that. And now I can make some manual adjustments if I need to, but only one trip wasn't placed, and Bambi has a reason for that, right? It's saying, hey, there's no good place to place this. I can manually place that trip if I want to and override Bambi. But as of now, this is the schedule. When a driver opens up their mobile app, they're going to see, hey, these are all the trips I have. It's easy for me to just tap through them. The big kicker is, Willina, you see how all these trips are blue right now?
Yes.
Well, with the exception of the purple ones, which means they're will call. Well, when it's actually day of, the colors of these blue boxes, they're going to change. So when a trip is in progress, it's going to be green. When a trip is delayed, it's going to turn yellow. When a trip is finished, it's going to get completed. And that is syncing in real time with the driver mobile apps, because as they're tapping through the trips and doing them in real time, you can see the status change here. And of course, we have a map view where you can see the drivers moving around on the map in real time as the trips are happening. You can see all the status of that. But really, it's just as simple as looking at this calendar view and seeing, okay, here's what my drivers are doing for the day. Here's where they have empty space where I could fit in trips. And if I need to go and download completed trip information, I can simply do that from the trip screen. There's an easy place for me to manage the shifts of my drivers. So, I can say, hey, this vehicle, Lil Ambi, Kelsey is driving it from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. And I can change that. There's a place for me to manage my fleets, manage who my paying sources are. I mean, you just look at this and there isn't really much training or question about what to do. All of the customers we have, we tell them Bambi provides 24/7 customer support, and we do. But honestly, we don't really ever have to provide much customer support because everyone's just like, oh yeah, I get it. It's easy.
So real life situation, real question. Are you synced with the brokers, the major brokers, to accept their trips, or would the company need to take those trips that were in their portal, their broker portal, and then implement them into Bambi?
So a couple of ways. Number one, our add a trip form is simple enough to key in trips, but for people who want to just take bulk information from a broker and pop it into Bambi, all of the major brokers that are out there, we have built out CSV upload formats. So you can take a trip from whatever broker, and then in Bambi, just select, oh, this is the broker, pop in that CSV file, and it'll just format all the trip information correctly so that those trips can be uploaded like that in Bambi. And then in terms of API integrations, that's something that we're actively working on this year with a number of the major brokers as well.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, that's one of the questions that, we definitely, I've seen several times, and including me when I was starting up, is that I saw that the major broker, one of the brokers, had on the day that I was supposed to go live, or a couple of days before I wanted to go live, they had put all of these trips in to my portal, and not understanding the rules, I hadn't rerouted all those. So something like Bambi, I could take that CSV file. If I was in time, I could just put all those trips in there, and that would sort it out and tell me which ones I need to redirect.
Exactly.
that right there is worth every cent. So what is the cost effectiveness for someone who has, let's say, like one vehicle that's starting out, that they don't really have very many trips, they may get one call per day or something like that? What would be the reason they would want to go ahead and start with Bambi?
So we love getting one vehicle fleets on board. We actually have a bunch of them. We always say, just start with Bambi, grow with Bambi. And the great part about Bambi is, our pricing is super simple and we're transparent about it. It's $69 per vehicle per month, a pair of shoes, right? And there's no onboarding fee, there's no support fee, there's no setup fee, there's no fee for extra features. There's no other charges. The only thing we ever charge customers is $69 per vehicle per month. So if you've got one vehicle, that's all you're paying and nothing more. And we give you the full customer support whenever you need it, everything you need. And our customer testimonials prove that. And the reason that a bunch of these one vehicle fleets come to us is because, I'll keep going back to it, but we help them do those three things a lot faster than they would do it without software. Getting trips, keying them into the, Bambi, getting the facilities to enter them directly, they love that, right? It's just so much easier to get that trip information. Doing trips, they're able to track, okay, these are all the trips I've done. I can see my reports in Bambi. If I need to store information, ever provide it to someone, it's all there. I can see what trips I've done. It's just so easy to manage everything on that calendar. And then finally, getting paid, right? Whoever it is you're doing trips for, somebody's paying them. And it's a lot easier to use our software to just send that out to whoever needs info and get that payment than it is to do otherwise.
Okay. Question that I know that if I don't ask it, then somebody's going to ask it. So do you need an MPI number to utilize that function of billing?
Nope.
That's awesome. I can't think of anything else. Really, you've hit it all. And we've seen the demonstration. I know that you've got some testimonials that you could talk about. And can you give us a couple of testimonials? And if you could finish us up with, based on your experience. I know, like you said, you've only been on board in the NEMT industry for a couple of years, but you're out there and you're meeting a lot of folk. And from that, do you have any words of encouragement or advice that you would give to new NEMT entrepreneurs?
Yes. So to your first point about testimonials, I don't want to speak on behalf of my customers, so I'll let them do that. Come over to Bambi's YouTube channel, our social media channels. We're putting out customer testimonial videos where you can hear directly from our customers about how much they love us. So it's not just me saying it. And then to your second question about what advice I'd give an NEMT startup provider. So I'm going to say this honestly. I'm not being facetious right now. I'm telling this honestly. My number one piece of advice is to get an NEMT coach, a consultant like Rolina McGee. And I really mean that. And I'm not just saying because I'm on your channel, because I've talked with so many startup NEMT providers, and you just really need to talk with someone who's been through the trials and tribulations. Why would you not leverage the experience of someone who's made the mistakes of starting out in this business and has learned from those mistakes? You just leap forward across all those pitfalls you would have fallen in by talking with someone like Willina and gaining those insights and experiences. Just get up and running faster, like don't waste your time muddling through these mistakes. It is so worth whatever investment you would put in. So that's my advice.
Oh, well, thank you for the plug. Hey, www.nemtstartup.net. I always get that confused. My .com was gone. So www.nemtstartup.net. You guys come on over and visit me. Make sure you subscribe to both of our channels. Make sure you hit the like buttons. I am very, very grateful that you have developed this software. It seems like it's going to definitely revolutionize the way that dispatching is done. I hope we don't put too many folk out of business. They're still going to have to push that. What's the button that we need to push?
Bambi run.
Bambi run. So somebody's got to push the button, but everything else looks like it's a solid and done for you, easy to use. Don't need a college degree to do that. They've already covered it for you. So you guys go on over, check out the website, check out YouTube channel, and I look forward to working with everyone and seeing everyone again. Thank you so much for being on today.
Thanks for having me, Willina.
All right. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon.